Alright, guys, welcome to my first ever official upload. I am 3reality. This is 3reality NYG, and we'll be doing a power rankings for the upcoming season. This is the first power rankings, of course, and kicking it off right from the get-go. Number 32, the team that I currently think is in position to get the first overall pick in next year's draft. It could be any one of these next four teams, but I'm going with the New York Jets. They don't have much of anything. They have a brand new rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson, drafted second overall. Brand new head coach. And they literally don't have much talent to work with. The Jets are a mess, which is usual. Number 31, I have the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions, they have Jared Goff, and he doesn't have much to throw to because they lost Marvin Jones Jr. and they lost Kevin Galladay. He has TJ Hawkinson. They have a couple up-and-coming running backs. And next, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully Joe Burrow wasn't hurt too much by his injuries. And they have Joe Mixon. They have a lot of very young wide receivers and tight ends. The offense is just really unknown. I think Joe Mixon is a really, really good running back. And their defense is just very lackluster. I mean, I think in a division where they're competing with the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers, they just really have their season set out for them, I would say. Now, next is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles, as of right now, they still have Ertz and Rodgers and Dallas Goedert. So I don't know if Ertz is going to go anywhere or what's going to happen, but the rest of the receivers, Rager did not have a great rookie season. They lost most of their running backs. They have Jalen Hurts, who at the end of the year looked like things were going pretty good for them, and they do have a somewhat average defense. I don't know. It's really hard to say with the Eagles, but I don't see them doing much. Next, I have the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons, obviously, they lost Julio Jones. They gained the tight end with their 6th overall pick there, 4th overall pick. His name is slipping my mind right now, but you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Next, I have the Oakland Raiders. Now, I had high hopes for the Raiders to make the playoffs, but then they gave their entire offensive line away, so I really don't know what they're doing. I think the Raiders can still be a good team. They have Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, and they're going to need to be able to protect the passer and open up run lanes, and we'll see what the Raiders can do with their season. I'm rooting for them, but I don't think it looks too good. Next, I have the Chicago Bears. The Bears proved to be on the decline last year, even though they still made the playoffs. I don't think anybody expected them to win their playoff game, so they lost Mitch Trubisky, which I believe was the best quarterback option they had. I don't think Mitch was ever in a good position, given a fair chance, because when he got benched for Nick Foles, he literally got benched for no reason. They just thought it was Foles' time, and Foles came in and he lost games that Mitch would have won. So They lost Kyle Fuller, one of the absolute best cornerbacks in the league. He was the number one free agent cornerback this season. And Khalil Mack he didn't really have as great of a season last year as he was supposed to. So we'll see what happens with the Chicago Bears. Next, I have the Houston Texans. Now, I have them here if Deshaun Watson plays. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play, I don't think they'll finish last. But obviously they will fall back a couple of notches. They've put together a three-headed monster at running back, and they still have a couple formidable names on defense after losing J.J. Watt. Tyrod Taylor, he's not a scrub, even though he's never been good enough really to be a starter. So that's why I have the Texans there. Now that completes my bottom tier of all the teams that need work. So the next tier, I have it in the hunt. 4 teams that I feel are dark horse candidates to make the playoffs. We have the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins probably have the number 1 scoring defense in the league. They missed the playoffs last year, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was amazing. So now they give the full reins to Tua Tagovailoa, and we'll see if he's meant to be an NFL quarterback or not. That's basically where I sit with that. Next, I have the Carolina Panthers. I really liked their chances of making the playoffs this year with Teddy Bridgewater, and now they're bringing in Sam Darnold. I'm trying not to hold anything against Sam Darnold because he played for the Jets. We don't really know if that was the reason he was seeing ghosts or not. So they do have Christian McCaffrey. We'll see if he can come back 100% off of his injury. Probably the best running back in the league. Next, I got the Denver Broncos, who do now have Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, whoever they go with. They still have Von Miller, and I want to see where their team may go. They have a very great young team, and we'll see if they can put the pieces together. Next, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really, really, really am rooting for the Jaguars this year. They got Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 prospect since Peyton Manning. They have DJ Shark. They have James Robinson. They just brought in another rookie running back. They have Laviska Shenault. They just brought in another, I believe they got Marvin Jones Jr. from the Lions. Their offense on paper is top 10. I think they really just need a formidable tight end to finish that up. But yeah, I really, really like the Jaguars' chances, and we'll see where it goes. So in the next tier, I have wildcard contenders. Teams that basically playoff hopes are in their own hands. If they win all the games that they should win, their seasons should be good. The next team I have is the New Orleans Saints. Now, we don't know if Jameis Winston is going to have the best season of his career, or if the other guy there who played while Breeze was hurt last year, he did pretty good. It wasn't bad. They still have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Saints have a good chance, but obviously a full season of no Drew Brees is a different story. Next, we got the Washington football team. They will be going with Ryan Fitzpatrick, which could be very good or very bad. Ryan Fitzpatrick will throw a bunch of yards. He will get touchdowns. He will get interceptions. So we'll see where that goes. Their defense is basically the same as last year, and the rest of their offense is basically the same as last year. And they won the NFC East when the whole NFC East sucked. Like, every time the NFC East sucks, you can bank on Washington to win. It's just some crazy thing that always happens. So next I have the New England Patriots. They won't have Julian Edelman at all this year, but they'll have a full year, hopefully, of healthy Cam. And if Cam craps the bed, they got their two younger quarterbacks ready to take the helm. They're also getting everybody back from COVID that they lost last year. And they also have Marquise Lee from the Jaguars last year. He didn't play because of COVID. And we'll see if Belichick can do what he does best, coach that team to the playoffs. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year. They have a great defense. I mean, they have great, like, overall team. You know, nothing super flashy outside of Keenan Allen. They did pick up Jared Cook, I believe. And we'll see what the Chargers can do. Next, I have the Indianapolis Colts, who do have a great defense. I think Carson Wentz is worse than Phillip Rivers, but we'll see if reunited with his head coach that he had in the Philadelphia Eagles brought them their Super Bowl victory, how that happens there. Now, obviously, Carson Wentz and now also Quentin Nelson are both sharing the same foot surgery, as bizarre as that is, and they're scheduled to be out 5 to 12 weeks. So they could start week 2 or they could start week 9. It's very unlucky, unfortunate for the Indianapolis Colts, because I believe they're a team that could definitely make the playoffs, and if Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz both miss almost half the season, then the Colts' hopes don't look too good. I do believe the Colts want to bring in Nick Foles from the Bears if the Bears truly love Andy Dalton. And there's also rumors that Phillip Rivers might come out of retirement. And I don't know. You got to take it with a grain of salt and see what happens. But very unfortunate injuries plaguing the Colts this preseason. Up next, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott started last year off to a great MVP quality start to the season. Even though the win-loss record really didn't show that much, they had a really insane comeback win against the Falcons, who seem to just choke big leads left and right. But the Dallas Cowboys defense was the worst defense of all time. So they have an insanely high-powered offense with CeeDee Lamb and Gallup and Cooper and Schwartz, I believe, is their starting tight end. Of course, Ezekiel Elliott. And Dallas, historically always known for a good offensive line. They're trying to fix that defense. I don't think Mike McCarthy is a good head coach at all, and he kind of proved that last year, but we'll see what the Dallas Cowboys can do this year. Up next, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Never count out Russell Wilson. Last year, they lost Josh Gordon, they lost Jadeveon Clowney, and Russell Wilson looked to be running away with the MVP, and then just weeks and weeks of interception plagued games. If they don't fix the decline that they're on, then things can end up pretty bad. But they are the Seattle Seahawks. They do have Russell Wilson, and we'll see. You can never count them out. But they're in a very, very strong division. They might be the worst team in their division. As I do have that here in the list. I project them to be the worst team in their division. Next up, I have the New York Giants. The New York Giants were able to beat the Seattle Seahawks last year with Colt McCoy. The New York Giants, they missed the playoffs because of the Eagles losing to the Washington football team in Week 17. So basically, the New York Giants were this close. And we've drastically upgraded our team. A lot of people are sleeping on us, and a lot of people just don't get it. And I don't see what people don't get. We were legitimately a top 10 defense last year. We're bringing in Adoree Jackson and a few other names like Afedia Denigbo. We went and we got Kenny Galladay. We drafted Azeez Ojulari. We have hopefully a healthy Saquon Barkley coming back. I mean, when Saquon Barkley is one of the absolute best running backs in the league, and then he doesn't play all of last season, and we still almost make the playoffs, you got to think the Giants can make the playoffs. I know we've been horrible, but to say that we don't have a chance to make the playoffs is dumb. I think that we win the division. I think Dallas competes with their offense. I think Washington competes with their defense, but I think we are the best overall team. And if Daniel Jones continues to get better, no fumbles, no interceptions, more touchdowns, anything can happen for us in the New York Giants. Now that ends that tier. We're going up to the next tier. The final 12 teams. These teams are all making the playoffs. Without a doubt. Okay. We got the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans just acquired Julio Jones. And they were already a playoff team. When you add a player like Julio Jones, who's always, since he came into the league, a top 10, top 5 wide receiver, to pair him up with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, it's going to be amazing. Now, they did lose some defense, but they drafted defense as well. So I think that we're going to see an even more high-powered version of the Tennessee Titans offense with the addition of Julio Jones. Next, I have the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, they still might have Larry Fitzgerald. He's not giving anybody an answer. So Larry Fitzgerald, without him even in the picture, they have DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the league. They went and they got A.J. Green, a former top 5, top 10 wide receiver. He's been plagued with injuries the last few years. Thought he would be a forever Bengal, but now he's an Arizona Cardinal. The Cardinals, they got J.J. Watt, and they have Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray keeps getting better and better. There's no reason the Arizona Cardinals do not produce a threat this season. Next up, I have the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams obviously have Aaron Donald, the best defensive player ever, next to Lawrence Taylor, of course. He's been rated the number one player in the NFL for years. True force to be reckoned with on defense. They have Matthew Stafford, which a lot of people believe is a drastic upgrade from Jared Goff. That remains to be seen. I don't want to throw any shade at Matthew Stafford, but when you go 0-16 with Calvin Johnson, I mean, sheesh. No, there was a point where I thought Matthew Stafford was top 10, top 15 at least. But if he's still in his prime, I think he's got the most to work with probably that he's ever had. I mean, it's hard to believe last year he had Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Galladay. Now he's got Cooper Kupp and he's got Gerald Everett. He's got Robert Woods, and they got a couple of nice young running backs. Although Cam Akers, I believe, is out for the season. I think I had the Rams a little bit higher. They might have dropped one or two spots on my list when Cam Akers got out for the season, but it'll be fun to see what the Rams can do. Sean McVay, craziest record of all time, undefeated when having a lead at halftime. That's super crazy there. The Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are always in the mix. If Dalvin Cook plays a 17-game season, there's no way that they don't make the playoffs. They have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. They're coming in this year with I believe, a better defense. Are they the ones that got Patrick Peterson? Something. The Vikings are in for a great season. Now, next, these are the Super Bowl contenders. These 8 teams, if you're a fan of them, you guys should be very excited this year because you don't even need to watch the regular season. These teams are making the playoffs with a chance of going to the Super Bowl. Now, this first choice is pretty bold. I know I'm going to hear a lot about it, but the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers started last season 11-0, just to get swamped by the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know Big Ben's getting old, but he's still really good. He's durable, and it looks like he got gassed at the end of the season. But the Steelers lost offensive linemen. They had injuries around their team. The amazing young staff of people they had are only going to get more talented and more used to the team and the playbook. They went out and they got Melvin Ingram on defense. And that's to add to TJ Watt and other players that already make their defense so incredible. I think the Steelers might have the top defense, at least top 3. And that's why I have them rated so high. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in the NFL, so I really don't believe it's going to happen this year. I think the Steelers will give it a run. I mean, I don't legit think that they have a chance of winning the Super Bowl, but I really do think they'll be in the playoffs. So up next, I have the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers I did have a little bit higher, but they're amazing defense coming off of injuries, kind of young. We're going to see how it goes. We got Jimmy Garoppolo. We got what's his name? They just drafted Garoppolo's potential replacement. So there's kind of like a quarterback controversy there. They never had a bunch of star power, you know what I'm saying? But they have Debo and their other outstanding, talented wide receivers and running backs. And can't forget George Kittle. George Kittle, the second best tight end in the league. The 49ers were just in the Super Bowl 2-3 years ago. Was it 2 years ago only? I don't even remember. Yeah, 2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs. So they're still the same exact team. And the only reason they had a bad season last year is because everybody got hurt. So you got to think that the San Francisco 49ers are still technically the defending NFC champions. But moving on. The Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns added Jadeveon Clowney to pair up with Myles Garrett. They have a maturing Baker Mayfield. They have Odell Beckham Jr., if he can play a whole season. They have Jarvis Landry. They have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, the greatest running back duo possibly ever. And they gave it to the Steelers last year. So I think it's a head-to-head race with the next team, the Baltimore Ravens, to win that AFC North title. So the Ravens, they've bolstered up their offensive line. They've bolstered up almost everything on their team. Lamar Jackson took the world by storm just to lose the very first game of the playoffs 2 years ago. Lost in the playoffs last year. I think the Baltimore Ravens, if defenses around the league do not figure out by now how to shut Lamar Jackson down, are a legit threat to go all the way. Now, the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers, getting Randall Cobb back, Devontae Adams. They're above average defense. What is the name? I'm so bad with names, guys. But their running back, you guys all know who I'm talking about. The other Aaron, right? Aaron Jones, is that his name? I believe he's a top 5, top 10 running back, without a doubt. Aaron Rodgers is the reigning MVP. You can never count out A-Rod. He's the man, you know? It's as simple as that. Next up, I got the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, possible MVP candidate. Stephon Diggs. And it's really crazy how powerful their team is. Because they have a bunch of star quality athletes on their team. They've increased the wide receiver core. And they're just even more well-rounded now than they were last year. No reason that they can't make the AFC Championship game. And there's no reason that they can't win it. The Bills are the best at losing Super Bowls, though, so I don't know what will happen there. But Buffalo fans, if you ever had a chance, this year's the year. Now, the next team, number 2, breaks my heart, but I base most of these power rankings off of team roster. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs next. I still believe they're the best team in the league. They're just unlike anything we've ever seen before. They came in, Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are like the professional version of what Trevor Lawrence and Clemson was. So I really like them. I'm a big fan of them. Travis Kelce, best tight end in the league. But they lost. to a wild card team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the defending Super Bowl champions. They shut down the Packers in the NFC Championship game, and they shut down the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They've acquired every single player that they potentially could have lost. Their whole Super Bowl team still exists, and you could say that they were a wild card team because they were just figuring it out. Tom Brady was learning a whole new playbook. Leonard Fournette was learning a whole new playbook. Everybody had to mesh and get together. They have Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, just one of the craziest rosters on paper that you could ever imagine. It's almost like an all-Madden team in real life. So now that the Saints in their division don't have Drew Brees, I don't see how they don't win their division. And everybody loves Tom Brady and calling him the GOAT and 7 rings and thinking he's going to repeat as a Buccaneer. I don't want to see that happen. But there's a chance, man. There's always a chance, and anything can happen in the NFL. So, the NFC Championship game, I believe, will be one of 3 teams, the Buccaneers, the Packers, and the 49ers, with a really good chance of the Rams-Vikings being in there, the Cardinals, and the New York Giants. We got to stay hopeful, guys. Hopefully we produce an amazing product and we take the league by storm this year and we shock the world. Hopefully Daniel Jones breaks out and we just have an amazing season. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't break your heart. Just enjoy it as it goes. Maybe we're 1 year away. Maybe next year will be a legitimate contender. But maybe we can get it this year and it'll be absolutely amazing. The AFC Championship game, Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Browns, possibly the Steelers, and just might be the Titans. So, thank you guys for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like. Please subscribe, and I definitely want to hear from you guys. So, drop a comment who your favorite team is. Drop a comment on what you agree with, what you disagree with, if you like the video. But till then, guys, forever with reality. New York Giants fan for life. Till next time, peace.